Good morning everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. It's that time of the time again. We are baking a cake. Today we are baking my nephew's birthday cake. He is turning 12 and I bought some vanilla cake mix. So I'm going to be doing a similar cake to my niece's cake that you guys would have seen, but I'm putting like sour worms and like dragon eggs in the middle. So yeah, that's what we're doing. What else am I doing? So yeah, this is just the Woolworths Food vanilla cake mix. I'm gonna speed through this whole process because it's just tedious, you know, and I mean the instructions are on the box, but I think the most important part is the actual icing of the cake. So I'm gonna bake it now. The time right now is almost 9:30 and yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
When I show up, whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up in the place. I was born and when I watch me elevate.
Okay everyone, so at this point I am going to start a voiceover so that I can basically talk you guys through the whole process. So I actually baked 2 of these cakes, which is why one is super hyperlapsed and one is just a sped up version of the actual whole entire process, if that makes any sense at all. So as you guys can see, I like to clean in between baking and all of that stuff. So I'm taking the first layer of cake and I'm just cutting off the top just so that it is flat and even, and I also cut out the center where I wanted the sweets to go. So I'm using a paper plate to help me transfer. And then with the icing sugar, what I did was I just basically took icing sugar, took butter and a little bit of milk. You don't want to use too much of milk, and I just eyeballed it and made icing sugar. So you just want to beat it quite well until it becomes like this creamy texture, but don't overbeat it because then you're gonna have problems. So I'm making a chocolate ganache to go on top of the initial layer of icing, and with this you just want to get some chocolate flakes or even any chocolate. I'm fancy, so I got the Woolworths one, which is the small little chunks, which makes it a lot easier. And you add some cream into it, but my cream was hella thick, so I had to put a little bit of milk in, and then you warm that up in the microwave and yeah, you're good to go. So I'm taking the second layer and I'm just going to be cutting out the middle. So my first cake had a little bit of a dip. Actually, it was the last cake that I baked that I put down first. Had a little bit of a dip in the middle, so I just cut it to even it out. And then now that we have the circle cut out in the center, I'm just checking that the cake is evenly placed. I'm going to be taking all these Woolies sweets, Woolies brand, dragon eggs, candy pops, which is like Astros, and some sour worms, and I'm gonna put it in the center, filling it up pretty much all the way to the top, but just leaving a little itty bitty teeny weeny space on top. So with that round circle that I cut out, I just cut out a sliver or like a thinner piece of cake to stick on top so that I could ice the cake, and then I'm using the icing and just icing the entire cake. So with the other Woolies cakes that I've had to bake, I've obviously this initial layer will be like your crumb coat where, you know, all the crumbs get stuck in the icing. But with this vanilla sponge cake, it needs to bake for quite a long period of time, so the crumb coat is not really even necessary with this cake. But I did it anyway, and in between I put it into the fridge or yeah, I did put it into the fridge, and now I'm doing a second layer of icing. I made more icing, so I think you need at least 500 grams more or less of icing sugar with this cake. So I just added a little bit more cream to the chocolate ganache that I had left over, and I'm just heating it up in the microwave to make sure it's nice and runny. And I'm gonna put this in a piping bag. So this is a Woolies disposable piping bag, and you just want to put it in a glass so you have a little bit of structure. And then yeah, I'm gonna be tying it up and letting it cool down. The trick with this drippy drip situation, and I had to learn it the hard way, let me tell you, is you have to let the chocolate ganache cool down. So I'm just tying up the piping bag, and then we are going to start piping the cake. So in between, I like to just let the cake cool in the fridge, just let everything sort of solidify a little bit, let the icing sort of harden up. So now I took the cake back out of the fridge, and I cut like a little bit off the end of the piping bag, and I'm going to take my time with this whole drippy drop situation. So I am just going throughout the perimeter of the cake. I need one of those, you know, those things that help smooth out the cake. Yeah, you can see my top is not even, but you know what? This cake went down, okay? This cake went down, so it's fine. I think my first layer wasn't very even, so then the top layer, yeah, anyway, it's fine. It's fine. You know what? This cake was delicious, and nobody knew it was lopsided. I'm only seeing it now, but it didn't look like that. So I'm going around the perimeter of the cake and just sort of being intentional with where I'm squeezing more of the ganache. And yeah, it was still a little bit warm at this point, but the icing had completely cooled down. So just make sure, like, when you are doing the ganache situation and when you have icing, just let your ganache cool down. Trust me, been there, where you put your ganache over and your icing underneath is melting. Oh, it's a hot mess. So yeah, this cake took me, I think, from bake time to icing time, probably about 5 hours. And yeah, I let it cool for like 10-15 minutes in between, so you can see me just adding the drippy drops and all of that good stuff. And then I also wrote happy birthday on the cake, which I don't think I filmed because I wasn't planning on writing happy birthday, but I did. And I added some salted caramel Lindt chocolates, as well as some of those candy pops, which are essentially Woolies Astros, if you think about it. So yeah, that is the cake. Okay everyone, so it is the next morning. I completely forgot to end the vlog. Yeah, but I did take pictures of the cake, and I took a little video showing what the inside of the cake looked like. So cue the video here. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this baking my nephew's birthday cake vlog. It's becoming like a tradition now, you know, and I kind of really like it. You know, I really like it. I like baking my family's birthday cakes. But yeah, that is it for this video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to slay all day every day with and without makeup, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye bye.